There are voices that are meant to be heard only in passing, as background noise to the hustle and bustle of everyday life. But then, there are voices that stop you in your tracks, making you pause, reflect, and even smile. Alice Tan Ridley had one of those voices. Her powerful, soulful sound filled the subway tunnels of New York City, and though many people rushed past her without a second thought, there were others who stood still, their hearts captivated by her music. Alice's life was more than just about singing in the subway or competing on a national stage. It was a life full of passion, love, and resilience. Alice was born on December 21st, 1952, in Charles Junction, Georgia, a small town that later became known as Lumpkin. She was the seventh of 8 children, growing up in a tight-knit family where music was a constant presence. From a young age, Alice was immersed in the sounds of gospel, jazz, and soul that her family loved. Singing was part of her heritage, passed down from generations before her, and she quickly realized that music was the one thing that could always ground her. In 1971, at the age of 19, Alice made the bold decision to leave her hometown and move to New York City. There, she pursued a career in teaching special needs children, but the city's vastness and the promise of new opportunities also allowed her to dream beyond the classroom. Music, which had always been a part of her life, became her silent companion in the background of her new urban existence. For years, Alice lived a quiet life, raising her children, navigating the complexities of city life, and dedicating herself to teaching. She was known as a mother, a teacher, and a woman who carried the weight of her everyday responsibilities with grace. But it wasn't until she found herself performing in the subways of New York that Alice truly discovered her stage, a platform that would eventually bring her a kind of recognition far beyond her expectations. In 1992, Alice began to sing in the subway stations, places where the rush of people, the screech of trains, and the unrelenting pace of city life never stopped. Yet, in the midst of it all, Alice's voice managed to rise above the noise. Her performances weren't meant to gain fame or attention. Alice wasn't seeking the spotlight or the praise that would come with it. What she sought was something far more profound, the simple joy of singing. Singing was her passion, and it brought her peace. To her, the act of singing wasn't about being seen, but about sharing something deeply personal with those who were willing to stop and listen. Whether it was a timeless classic like I Will Always Love You, or a tear-jerking anthem like My Heart Will Go On, Alice poured her heart into every note. Her voice wasn't just a means of expression. It was an offering, a piece of her soul that she gave freely to anyone who took the time to hear it. Amidst the crowded, chaotic subway platforms, where commuters hurried by without even making eye contact, there were moments when Alice's voice turned those impersonal spaces into something unexpectedly intimate. Passers-by, lost in their own thoughts, would suddenly find themselves drawn in, their pace slowing as they listened. The clamor of the trains and the bustle of the crowd faded as her voice filled the air, offering a brief, beautiful escape from the demands of everyday life. For those few moments, the cold, mechanical nature of the city melted away. And in its place, there was only Alice, a woman whose voice could connect, heal, and remind everyone that beauty could be found even in the most unlikely places. Although Alice had found her place in the hearts of subway commuters, national recognition remained just out of reach until 2010, when she decided to take a leap of faith. At the age of 58, Alice auditioned for the 5th season of America's Got Talent. Her choice of song, At Last, by Etta James, felt like fate. It was as though the song's title mirrored her own journey. Finally, she was getting her moment to shine. When Alice stepped onto the stage, she was not just another contestant. She was a woman whose life had been shaped by both struggles and triumphs, and she poured all of that emotion into her performance. As soon as she began to sing, the audience was captivated. There was no artifice, no pretense. It was just Alice and her voice. Her performance was one of those rare moments of television magic where everything aligns perfectly. Her voice soared, filling the room with the kind of passion and warmth that only comes from years of lived experience. Judge Piers Morgan, always known for his tough critiques, was moved by Alice's performance. He declared her brilliant, and Howie Mandel, another judge, commented on the heartwarming nature of Alice's journey. Although Alice didn't win the competition, her appearance on America's Got Talent marked a turning point in her career. She made it to the semifinals, proving to the world that it's never too late to pursue your dreams. Her appearance was more than just a performance. It was a message that dreams are ageless and the pursuit of passion is timeless. Before her national television debut, Alice had already been part of other musical projects. In 2002, she won $25,000 on the debut episode of the short-lived show 30 Seconds to Fame, where she showcased her vocal talents. She also appeared on Showtime at the Apollo in 2005, a platform known for discovering some of the greatest talents in music. Alice's music was featured in the 2005 documentary Rise, directed by David LaChapelle, and in the 2004 feature film Heights. Her voice had already made its mark in the world of entertainment long before the subway performances and television appearances. Her music continued to touch lives, and in 2016, at the age of 63, Alice released her debut studio album, Never Lost My Way. The album was a reflection of her years of performing, both on the subway and on larger stages, and it featured a mix of covers and original songs. Her rich, soulful voice resonated with listeners as she sang about love, heartache, and the beauty of life's journey. The album marked a new chapter in Alice's career, and though she had faced health struggles, including battles with dementia, her love for music never waned. In addition to her musical career, Alice was deeply proud of her daughter, Gabourey Sidibe, whose career in acting took off with her breakout role in the 2009 film Precious. Gabourey's success was not just her own, it was a triumph for Alice as well. The two women shared a bond of mutual respect and admiration, each supporting the other through the challenges of life and career. Alice would often speak with pride about Gabourey's achievements, just as Gabourey would celebrate her mother's musical talents. Gabourey's success served as a reminder of the strength and determination that Alice had passed down to her children. Alice's ability to rise above the challenges she faced, to pursue her dreams, and to offer unconditional love to her family were lessons she imparted to her children every day. In 2018, Alice's health began to decline, and she was forced to step back from performing due to her struggles with dementia. The vibrant energy that had once fueled her performances became more difficult to maintain. However, even in the face of health challenges, Alice remained an inspiring figure. Her music continued to resonate with those who had been touched by her voice, and her legacy as a mother, artist, and woman of strength lived on. On March 25, 2025, Alice Tan Ridley passed away at the age of 72. Her death marked the end of an era for those who had followed her career and appreciated her artistry. But while her time on this earth may have ended, her music, and the love and passion she poured into it, will continue to live on. Alice Tan Ridley was not just a subway singer, a contestant on America's Got Talent, or a mother to a successful actress. She was a symbol of resilience, of the quiet strength that comes from pursuing your passions regardless of the obstacles you face. Her voice was a gift that touched the hearts of those who listened, whether for a moment in a subway station or during her nationally televised performance. Her story reminds us all that it's never too late to follow your dreams. It reminds us that passion can light up even the darkest places. And it reminds us that sometimes the most beautiful music comes from the most unexpected places. Alice may have left this world, but her voice, her spirit, and her love for music will echo on forever, filling the hearts of those who had the privilege to hear her sing.